World of Warships, a fun, free-to-play game about battling boats in the ocean blue. A team game, sometimes you can really come together and make magic happen. A lot of the time though, everyone does their own thing, and you're essentially on your own. Why? I'll tell you why. There's too many objectives. Here's what you might be considering during a game of World of Warships. Team objectives. To succeed, a team must get capture points, kill the enemy ships to gain points, avoid dying to keep from losing points, and properly prioritize enemy ships. You win at 1,000 points, you lose at 0. Here's a quick aside to explain the ship classes. You've got destroyers. They're small, stealthy, maneuverable. A lot of them carry torpedoes. They're great for scouting, spotting the enemy, and putting battleships in a world of hurt. Cruisers are essentially DPS boats. They can fight destroyers effectively, they have a good amount of damage on battleships with fire rate, and they can start fires pretty well. Battleships are big tanky ship slappers. They crush cruisers, and they can throw hands with other battleships. They struggle with destroyers for a couple of reasons. They've got long reload times, their turret traverse speed is often really slow, so they can't really aim on them too effectively. I guess there's also aircraft carriers, but almost nobody plays them. They've got a brutal skill curve, lots of weird, broken mechanics. They don't even have tutorial. They're getting reworked right now. At some point, they're adding submarines to the game as well. Back to objectives. Outside of those team objectives, we've also got individual objectives. Here's where it gets ugly. A player might want to complete tasks for campaigns, combat missions, or special events for individual rewards. This often requires certain playstyles or accomplishments that are earned from specific in-game actions. This is also true for in-game achievements that grant rewards, like Kraken Unleashed, which is earned with 5 kills in a single game. The most wildcard personal objectives are personal improvement and ideal ship usage. If you want to hone a specific skill, you'll probably play to feature it. Lots of ships play very differently, and sometimes those playstyles clash pretty aggressively. How does this affect team cohesion? We get lots of players doing very specific things for their personal objectives. World of Warships is one of those games where you need to be flexible, and nothing is guaranteed. Contributing to this is the fact that the average World of Warships player knows his crayons by both color and taste. If you're hellbent on killing 4 ships with fires, you aren't adapting to the changing factors of the game, and you will not perform as well. Let's look at some footage of one of my games where I played to my own tune. Pivotal to understanding this segment is the role of destroyers. I don't just sling torpedoes around, I also have a responsibility to spot the enemy team and secure the capture point. So here I am in my Tier 7 Akatsuki Japanese torpedo boat. I'm in a gunfight over one of the caps on this map. That's not ideal for me. I'm firing on the enemy as I move to some cover behind this island. I don't want to be in this situation. Fortunately, my team kills him, and I start to break off towards the... So I break off towards the flank, and I'm looking for battleships, anything I can torpedo out here. Ideally, I can get around the corner and push the back line of the enemy team, where I'll be doing the most damage. Here I'm starting to push deeper. I'm thinking about going all the way to the back line, trying to find their aircraft carrier. Being a considerate teammate, I decide to tell my team what I'm doing so they don't just look at the map and see that I'm going way away from the rest of the team in the fight. And fortunately for me, our aircraft carrier is actually paying a lot of attention to the situation. He's been trying to figure out where the enemy carrier is, and he points out a few places on the map for me to go check out. Hoping I find their carrier right behind this island here, because I'll be in way too close for him to start moving. I can just run right up to him and torp him before he can get planes in the air to attack me. There he is.
12 seconds later.
I made some pretty selfish decisions in this game. The allied destroyer with me was killed in the battle at the capture point, so I deprived my team a lot of spotting by going around the flank. Every player in the Eastern Fleet had to go along with what I was doing. Fortunately, I made some good decisions and I got some help from my team that allowed me to make my attack a success. If I had made mistakes and gotten myself killed, then as a destroyer I'm an important ship to lose, especially as the last destroyer in the Eastern Fleet. We could have lost the game. This example is pretty easily defended. My team recognized my ship was better suited to a flanking maneuver and they encouraged me. There's no way I could take a gunboat around like that to the same effect, so if I'd been in my Haida or my Ernst Gade, I'd probably have been called some choice words. This current clip shows some aggressive plays gone horribly wrong. I pushed up since our destroyer didn't want to, and and I was enjoying a nice case of Crayolas for about 30 seconds before I died. This is the kind of play that a lot of noobs use to try to get some kills, or they just don't know another way to play. Those kind of plays are called YOLO charges, and they're almost always unsuccessful on a team scale. Giving up kills early is difficult to overcome. In this clip, we can see that most of my team has already died, and now we're being crushed by superior numbers. Our team wasn't coordinated or playing the same way, so we all get to have a horrible game. I'm not the only one who thinks that it is really hard to play as a team with lots going on. This paper by John Nicholas about concurrent engineering highlights pretty much all of my main points, but in the context of making a product. Making a product as a team is getting a desired result as a group, the desired result being a good product that sells well. A team in World of Warships wants to win, so the process is essentially identical. Nicholas writes at length about a lot of the problems I've highlighted here. There's a lot going on, a lot of ways to get to the goal, and if there isn't a consensus that is actively used by every team member, then things start to fall apart. One subject Nicholas raises is team member inequality. Not every role has equal or identical function. Let's say the map loads and most of the battleships are on the western side. They don't really have the mobility to get to the east, and just as a machinist might not be able to change an engineer's mind, they can't move well. As a team, we should go west with the battleships, but as crayon-eating scrubs, we tend to just sail forwards and get into the fight quickly. This paper outlines all of the problems I see in World of Warships. We have players working towards the same objective in different ways. Why is this a problem in the game? Let's get back to concurrent engineering and really tease apart the word concurrent. In a typical game, I've got 11 other players trying to do one of 4 team objectives that we've covered before, and they're trying to do it all at the same time. The problem is that some of those options are probably better than others. If we can kill all of the enemy ships, why should we even try for the capture points? If we can't kill them, why shouldn't we run the clock and try to keep a point lead from before? The underlying issue is communication and consensus. I say we pull back and focus on kills. Somebody else says we run the clock, and now we can't do either. Half the team is doing one thing, the other half is doing the other. It's all happening at the same time, and while we're disorganized, the enemy team is going to kill us or get the caps and essentially take the game while we're still trying to figure out what's going on. Here's a zoom on the mini-map from a game that my brother and I lost quite handily. Notice how most of the enemy ships are on the right flank and they've pushed up hard. These two ran up the middle, tremendously risky play. They wanted to kill a special Thanksgiving bot-controlled boat for an individual prize, and they were able to do that in tandem with a heavy push on that right side. To compensate, the enemies on the left, where we were, just kept retreating to keep us busy and allow the enemy to partially encircle us. This just goes to show that when a team has at least one objective in mind, going to kill the turkey boat and pushing the right flank, they can do really well. So far, all I've done is complain about how my team rarely cooperates. I've identified the problem. How the hell do we fix it? Short answer is, not easily. They could gut the objectives down to 1 per game mode, but that makes a lot of the flexibility of the game go away, and a lot of ships that are specialized for a certain task will become objectively better or worse for it. If you take away individual prizes, then there isn't much to earn in the game from your own performance. I think it's pretty important to encourage players on an individual level. One idea I have that doesn't change much mechanically is the ability to draw battle plans on the map. If players can draw lines on the map or place pre-made arrows to direct their allies, it facilitates communication. A simple voting system could be used during the lobby to allow players to toss ideas or concur. It doesn't force anyone to play a certain way, but some system of proximity could be used to reward players fighting on or around the battle lines that they drew. This idea is actually supported by the Nicholas paper, where the solution for pretty much every problem that he poses is to get everyone on board, give everyone an equal voice, and reward people for actually listening. Well, there you have it. World of Warships has a problem in my opinion, and that is a confused mess of objectives that the players struggle to reconcile over the course of 20-minute games. Selfish decisions undermine the entire team, and a lack of unified strategy means you probably wind up on your own anyway. Hopefully some of my gameplay highlights the risks and detriments of the current system. I forced my team to go without a spotter and helped me in a frantic search for the aircraft carrier, and although it paid off, my team was on the hook for my risky play. John Nicholas identified these problems in the team decision-making process in the engineering field, and we make a pretty similar case. If there isn't a joint effort, it's going to go poorly. You need more communication to counteract that. I seriously doubt the wargaming team can fit my suggestions onto the roster, what with all the arbitrary and backwards-ass nerfs they're doing, but hey, you know the saying, the one about the monkeys and the typewriters? Maybe after a bit of Shakespeare we can get some more tools to work as a team. Until then, I'll just stick to YOLO charging. Thanks for watching.